This question is from the topic deflection from the main topic, that is strength of materials. So cantilever beam of flexurial rigidity, cantilever beam of length L and flexurial rigidity EI is subjected to an end moment M as shown in figure. The deflection at x equal to L by 2. The deflection at x equal to L by 2 is dash. So here this problem can be solved by using the moment area method. So for which we need to draw the bending moment diagram for this. So if the beam is subjected to couple at free end, will be a bending moment diagram like this. So at the fixed end there will be moment M, and even at the free end there is a sudden change in the moment. Okay, so this height will be also M. It will be a rectangle. So M, and this will be length L. Deflection as per moment area method, deflection is given by deflection is equal to AX bar divided by EI. So this AX bar is the moment of area under BMD diagram. This is moment of area under BM diagram. All right, so area of this is equal to, so here we are required to know the deflection at the at x equal to L by 2 location, at x equal to L by 2 location. So this is x equal to L by 2 location, and from the fixed end towards the L by 2, x equal to L by 2. So this will be x equal to 0 and this will be x equal to L by 2. So here this area is equal to M into L by 2. Area will be equal to M into L by 2 into the centroidal distance. That is centroidal distance, we need to measure it from the free end. Centroidal distance, we need to measure it from the free end. So this will be equal to, we need, I guess, for if you are calculating, yes, just area A into AX bar divided by EI is the deflection. So area will be equal to M into L by 2, M into L by 2. And centroid, if we are calculating the deflection at the free end, we need to mark the distance from the free end. Here we are measuring the distance from, let us say, point B. So if we are measuring it from point B, then this will be the centroid from B, which is equal to half of L by 2, which is equal to half of L by 2 divided by EI. So this is equal to ML square by 8 EI. This is equal to ML square by 8 EI, which is the option D. Right, so this is deflection from point B. If at all, I want to calculate the deflection at C, then I need to mark the centroid from point C. So which is equal to, this is L by 4. This is L by 4. So this will be 3L by 4, which is L by 2 plus L by 4, which is 3L by 4. So X bar will be changing if you are doing for delta C. So area will remain same as it is, M into L by 2 divided by EI into the centroid from C. If at all I want to calculate, that will be 3 times of L by 4. 3 times of L by 4, so which is equal to 3 ml square by 8 EI. So this is delta C, which is free end, and delta B is at the mid span. So our option is ml square by 8 EI, that is option D. This is the end of the question. This question is from the topic strength of materials, and from the subtopic it is stress strain curve. So the loading and unloading response of the metal, as the loading and unloading response of a metal is shown in the figure. The elastic and plastic strains to 200 megapascal stress are respectively dash. So here We need to observe, if we observe the figure carefully. So this part of the curve is called as this part. Let me write this as OA and this as B. So OA is loading curve. OA is loading curve and AB is unloading portion. AB is unloading curve. So now once the loading is removed, the amount of strain retained by the material. This is the amount of strain retained by the material. The amount of strain retained by the material. This is amount of strain retained by the material. So, which is nothing but the plastic strain upon the removal of load. What is the definition of plasticity? It is the amount of deformation. Here in the plastic deformation, what do you write? You write it as the deformation retained upon the removal of forces. So upon the removal of load, it is the deformation retained or percentage of deformation retained. It is the percentage of deformation retained. So this is nothing but this dimension OB will give us the plastic strain, which is plastic strain. So this will be plastic strain, that is epsilon P is equal to 0.01 is the plastic strain. Okay, 0.01 is the plastic strain. And now we need to calculate the elastic strain. We need to calculate the elastic strain here, right? So here the total strain, that is epsilon total, is equal to 0.03. Epsilon total is 0.03 and epsilon P is equal to 0.01, right? And here the amount of deformation produced is 0.03. The amount of deformation produced is 0.03, and out of which 0.02 is recovered. 0.02 is recovered, or this dimension will be, or this segment will be nothing but the elastic strain, because here it is being recovered, or it is being recovered. So this will be epsilon elastic. So epsilon E is equal to 0.02. Okay, that is the recovered strain. This is the recovered strain. At point A, the actual deformation is 0.03, which is 0.03. Upon the removal of load, the amount of percentage of deformation is reduced to 0.01. So when there is no load, the deformation is 0.01, or which is the retained deformation, that is epsilon P, that is plastic deformation. And the other half and the other segment will be elastic deformation, which is 0.02. So here the elastic and plastic deformations are, that is 0.02 and 0.01. That is option D. This is the end of the question. This question is from the topic strength of material from the flexurial stresses. So an overhanging beam PQR is given, is subjected to uniformly distributed load of 20 kilonewton as shown in figure, and the maximum bending stress developed in the beam is dash. So here first let us calculate the reactions, that is sigma Fy equal to 0. Say this is point P and point Q, there will be a reaction RP, and this will be, say this reaction as RQ. So RP plus RQ is equal to 20 into 3 meters. So this is RP plus RQ equal to 60. This will be equation 1. So next will be movements about A. If I take, that is equal to 0. So 20 kilonewton is distributed over, this is 2 meters and this is 1 meter. So it is distributed over 3 meters. 20 into 3 by 2 minus RQ into 2 equal to 0. So this is 20 into 3 is 60. 60 into 1.5 is 90. 90 by 2 is equal to 45. RQ equal to 45 kilonewton and RP will be equal to 15 kilonewtons. RP will be equal to 15 kilonewtons. Now let me just draw the shear force diagram for this. The shear force diagram for this will be, that is shear force at P will be SF at P will be equal to 15 and SF at Q will be equal to 15 minus 20 into 2, that is minus 25. And there is a point load at, there is a point reaction RQ, because of which if I add RQ here, so this will be 20 kilonewtons positive. Similarly, SF at R will be equal to 20 minus, that is 20 into 1, that is equal to 0. So the shear force for uniformly distributed load at P it will be 15 and at Q it will be 25, and it will suddenly change to 20 and then it will decrease to 0. Then it will decrease to 0. Right. Now here I need to calculate where the shear force is reducing to 0. That distance, that is 15, this is 15, this will be 25 and this is 20. This is 1 meter, this is say x, this will be 2 minus x. We can apply here similar triangles, or we can write the formula for this slope, theta and theta, that is 15 by x is equal to 25 by 2 minus x. So this will be 30 minus 15x equal to 25x. So this is equal to 30 equal to 40x. So x will be equal to 3 by 4. X will be equal to 3 by 4, which is 0.75 meters. Right. And now this is the point where you have shear force changing from positive to negative. So let me calculate what is the area for this diagram. Let me just calculate for this diagram, which is half into 1 into 20. So bending moment is nothing but area under shear force diagram. So this is equal to 10 kilonewton meter. This is equal to 10 kilonewton meter. Now similarly, let me just calculate the shear force, or let me just calculate the bending moment where the shear force is changing to 0. So this is another area. This is another area, or I can place the section here. Okay, that is RP. X we have got it as 0.75. So RP into 0.75 minus. So let me just mark this point as this is P, Q, and R. Say this as S. So bending moment at S is equal to, that is RP into 0.75 minus 20 into 0.75 into 0.75 by 2. So this is RP is 15 into 0.75 minus 20, that is 20 into 0.75 into 0.75 by 2. So this is equal to 5.625. This is equal to 5.625 is the bending moment at point S. At B we have calculated at this point Q. At this point Q we have calculated that as 10. Okay, bending moment at Q, it is being calculated as 10 kilonewton meter, right? And yes, so maximum bending moment is equal to, that is 10 kilonewton meter. Maximum bending moment is 10, that is equal to 10 kilonewton meter, and we can calculate this area, but we cannot say that this is maximum bending moment. So remember here, this area, let us just calculate for this shaded area. Okay, so that is half into 25 into 2 minus 0.75. 2 minus 0.75, so that is equal to 0.25. 0.5 into 25 into 1.25. That is 0.5 is 2 into 25 into 1.25, which is equal to 15.625. So these two together, if you add these two together, if you add this area number 1 and this number 2, so you will get the bending moment at Q. You'll get the bending moment at Q. Okay, summation of these two areas. Don't just take up this area. Don't just take up this area. The cumulative of these two areas has to be taken. The cumulative effect of these two areas has to be taken. So this area is 15.5.625 and this area we have calculated as 15.625. So total is nothing but 10 only. So maximum bending moment comes out to be as 10 kilonewton meter, and bending stress here, it is nothing but sigma equal to m by I into y. So sigma here, that is m is equal to 10 into 10 power 6 Newton mm. If I multiply this with 10 power 6, this will be so many Newton mm, and I for this will be equal to 24. I for this will be equal to 24 into 100 cube. 24 into 100 cube. The dimension which is perpendicular to neutral axis, that is should be cubed, should be raised with power 3. So 24 into 10 cube divided by 12 into y will be 100 by 2. Y will be equal to 100 by 2. Okay, so this comes out to be, the entire calculation will be equal to 250 megapascals. 250 megapascals. Okay, so this was a very good question where the concept of shear force bending moment diagrams and the concept of bending stress was also present. Okay, this is the end of the question. This question is from the topic strength of materials. From the subtopic axial loading, a prismatic bar PQRST is subjected to axial load. The segment having maximum and minimum axial stresses are dash. So segments which are suffering maximum stress. So if I consider ST segment, okay, so the active load on ST segment is 25 and 25. Similarly, if I consider RS segment, this is ST segment. RS segment, if I consider, the load will be 25 minus 20, 25 minus 20, 25 minus 20 and 25 minus 20. So which is equal to 5 kilonewton. That is RS segment. This is RS segment. This is equal to 5 kilonewton and this is equal to 5 kilonewton. Right, and similarly, if I consider QR segment, so for segment QR, the right hand force will be 25 and the left hand force will be minus 20 plus 15, which is equal to 20 kilonewtons, and here also similarly it will be the same, that is 20 kilonewtons. Similarly, if I consider PQ segment, let me just draw the diagram for PQ segment. So the extreme right load is 25 and opposite to that is 20, and again to the right is 15 and again to the left is 10. So this load, that is 25 plus 15 is 40 minus 30. So this is equal to 10 kilonewton. This is equal to 10 kilonewton of tension. 10 kilonewton of tension and 10 kilonewton of tension. So out of this, the maximum and minimum axial stresses. So area of cross section is same. So the maximum, the one which is going to suffer maximum stress will be ST. The one which is going to suffer maximum stress will be ST. So this is going to suffer maximum stress. Okay, and the one which is going to suffer minimum stress is RS. Okay, so this is going to suffer minimum stress. That is minimum stress. So here the options are ST and RS.
STNRS, that is option A. This is the end of the question. A right solid cylinder, a right solid circular cone standing on its base on a horizontal surface is of height h and base radius r. The cone is made of material with specific weight W and Young's modulus E. The vertical deflection at the mid height of the cone due to self weight is given by dash. Okay, it is given by dash. So here, first is we need to calculate the weight of the cone. First is that we need to calculate the weight of the cone. So here some cone is given. Okay, some cone is given. It is standing, right, and the cone is made, yes, the base, the vertical deflection at the mid height, that is h by 2. This is h by 2, and this is also h by 2. This is also h by 2, right? And now this radius here, if this is radius r or diameter d, this will be d by 2. This will be d by 2, right? So now weight of the cone, weight of the cone that is equal to P, that is P above h by 2, above h by 2, that is equal to volume of cone, volume of cone volume of cone above h by 2 into specific weight. So volume here it is given by area into height. So area base area is pi into r by 2 whole square into h by 2 is the height into specific weight is w, into specific weight is w. Now vertical deflection of the cone, that is deflection of cone, is given by deflection of cone, that is equal to delta is equal to, this is like a tapered bar, that is 4pl divided by pi into d1 d2 times of e, 4 into pl by pi into d1 d2 times of e. So here delta is equal to 4 into p, that is p is nothing but weight of the cone, that is pi into r square by 2 whole square, r square by 2 whole square into h by 2 into specific weight is w. This is the weight into length is given by length of, we are calculating for half of the cone, so length will be h by 2 divided by pi times of diameter at one end is d and another end is d by 2. Diameter at one end is r or r by 2, at one end is r and at the other end is r by 2 times of Young's modulus, times of Young's modulus. So this will be equal to w into h square by 8e, w into h square by 8e, which is option B, which is option B. This is the end of the question.